Are you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Welcome back to Liquid Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, IVUXYY, Ivoxy, and we got Squally over here to the side as well. I can't really tell which side it's going to end up being on. I think you're on the left. And this is episode number 7. And it's been
And
8 months, as we now see. And it's been a hot minute. We got a couple new people that have been tuning into it since we've been doing content. And obviously, it's changed a little bit here and there. But long story short, we're still the degenerate people we were before. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. But it's going to be a nice hour-long episode. And I'm excited to get into it, dude. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Well, the last time was 8 months ago. But when did we talk about doing this again? Wasn't it like we were playing pool last week?
yeah, that would have been last week, and we were thinking about pushing it for the week after this week, but we pretty well just said screw it at that point.
Yeah, yeah, we were kind of like wondering when we were gonna want to do this thing, but I've been excited to do it for a while. I just really didn't know when was a good time to. But we do have a good couple things to talk about, and it's a good time to do it now before all the hectic stuff that's going on. Since gonna be moving in 7 days, which is pretty good. Which you haven't even seen the place yet, have you? Like you haven't even like
Nah,
okay, I don't
nah,
think
I
we've even
haven't been
shown you
over yet.
pictures.
Nah.
So well, you're gonna see it soon. Anyone listening, the man's helping me move. He's helped me move probably about like I don't know 15 times now since back in the day. I don't know exactly how many, but god damn, it's usually you, me, and Nick that do all the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
and then there's like maybe like a couple of people that we help. But Stephanie's always there, and then it's us, and then even before Stephanie, whatever, before like all that happened or whatever, it was always be like it's just you and me, and then maybe you, me, and Nick, and that's about it. So he's my
Yep.
unpaid helper, by the way. If you guys want to know, I do not pay. We pay in beer and food. We don't pay in cash. All right, we pay in sexual favors, if anything.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. All right, I wanted to start off because you been showing off the tattoo game on your arm there, and as you guys can see, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt because I got nothing to show off. I don't have any tattoos, but this fella here, he's got about a couple. And if you guys look at his arm there, you guys could see the most recent one. I don't think you've shown off many tattoos on the actual podcast, but if you want to give
No.
them a backstory of what that is.
So for my mythology lovers, basically my entire left side is pretty well turning from a mythology mixed with floral. It's pretty well a good meets evil type theme, except it's pretty well in reverse from what people actually think when they look at them. So for anyone that does any looking into for like what do they call it? I think people call it flower language or something like that.
Mhm.
Every flower has like a distinct couple of meanings behind it. Most of them are like good, but there are a handful of them that are supposed to have like dark meanings. Like the chest piece that I have right now is an Oni mask. You can see part of it right there. The Oni mask itself is supposed to represent protection in Japanese mythology. The flower attached to it is a red spider lily, and for anyone anyone that watches fucking anime, you're well aware what the hell the flower means and whatnot. For those that don't, it's supposed to be a representation of death, and it seems to be like a popular thing that grows around graveyards in Japan as well.
Gotcha.
And if you follow the theme, you can clearly tell all the mythology is going to be centered around Japan. Like the most recent one I got on my arm here, that nice red tipped one, is a kitsune, which everyone that's ever watched fucking Naruto knows exactly what it is. But the mythology with it is that they're supposed to be mischievous and tricksters. Their name's all supposed to represent 1,000 faces. The flower that I have attached to it, which isn't colored in yet, but we're working on it, is a snapdragon. The snapdragon is supposed to represent deception, which works really well with the kitsune, considering in mythology it's supposed to be mischievous but helpful at the same time. But obviously, if we're just going off of pure deception on the flower, that's it's kind of the darker side of the two coins there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and the other piece on my arm there is a Koma Ainu, which, if anyone's seen pictures of Japanese shrines, they're the dog-like beasts that sit on platforms in front of it because, from their mythology, they're supposed to be guardians. And the flower I have attached to it is a black dahlia, which is supposed to represent betrayal. So it's a nice theme going on my left side here.
Hmm. And I think that's, I mean, like, honestly, I'm not even going to try to bullshit. I remember I first saw your tattoo, and straight up the first thing I was like, oh shit, looks like Ninetales. I was like, that's a fucking Pokemon right there. That's like the only thing I thought of at first was like, oh yeah, the Japanese style, like he wants to go with, whatever. He's been continuing, which is, it's pretty fucking decent, especially because we're, I mean, obviously, we're going to Japan. All right, we're planning to go to Japan later on in the year, and they, this is all about, he's got a lot of Japanese style stuff going on his arm there. But the problem going there is can't really be showing it off. So that's a
Yeah.
little unfortunate. You can show it off. It's just more so if anyone doesn't know, like it's a little bit of a different culture over there. You can go to a lot of places, sure, but you can't go to a lot of places as well. And if you want to, you have to cover them up, which is unfortunate because if he shows up his hands, he's got a little bit there too. So, it's a little unfortunate on that side. Me personally, being a complete virgin when it comes to tattoos, I don't have anything. I got nothing to hide, but that could change before we go up there. So we'll see. But speaking on the Japan trip, I think we've planned very little. We've done very little planning so far. Well, like written planning and all that stuff, but I don't know if you've noticed the prices of stuff fluctuating heavily.
Oh yeah. They're
It's
they're constantly fluctuating.
and the actual the price for the tickets to go there and back have absolutely just jumped, and then
Yeah.
they came down, and then they jumped again, and then their average is a little bit higher now. Because I remember we first looked, it was about 4,000 to 4,500 for three people at the time. Because at the time we were wondering if Nick was going to go, and then we didn't really know what the plan was. It was going to be just the three of us, you, Steph, and myself. And then when we were looking at that, it was going to be like 4,000 to 4,500 for three people for a round trip to and from within that time frame. And if anyone's wondering, the time frame is October 25th to the 3rd of November. That's what we're looking at. And it was supposed to be 4,000 to 4,500, and then it jumped up to about 4,300 to 4,800, and then it jumped up to about 5K, then 5.5K, then 6K, back down to 4K, back up to 5K, and it's just been going crazy. So I've been keeping like a close eye on it, but if it drops back to 4K, we got to go at it. Like
Yeah.
hypothetically in that price range, because now there's four of us, right? You're so Pam's coming for sure, right?
Yes.
Got you. So there will be four of us now for sure, because Nick is no longer going to be going. That's pretty clear. He's made
Yeah.
that.
He's made that pretty clear.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't really taking it very serious to begin with, because he's got his own stuff he's got to take care of, which is entirely, that makes sense. And it was kind of like an open idea on whether or not our other buddy was going to join us. But like, obviously, we'd love to have him. But if he can't go, he can't go. We'll do our own. We'll do trips other ways and other places and all that stuff too. But now there's going to be four of us. We know that for sure. We can get the plan going a little better, and it's also going to be a little easier knowing that we don't have to worry about how many rooms we have. It's going to just be two rooms. It's going to be, obviously two seats side by side for each couple, and now it's going to turn into a couples retreat. And if it turns anything into what I see in the movies, I'm a little bit worried. So I don't know what
Yeah,
it
we won't
was.
be coming back.
No, no, no. It's going to be pretty scary. What was that one? I think it was Vince Vaughn, and he was going on this. I don't know. It might have been Couples Retreat or something like that. It might have actually been titled that. But there was this movie way back in the day specifically about this is like some couples getaway, and it turned into some couples like nightmare getaway type therapy situation, and it was like super sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
now if it turns out like that, then we have a problem. But I don't know. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't
Well,
know.
I do have a handful of theories on places we can go.
Mhm.
One of the places that we're definitely gonna visit, and I've talked to your old lady about it, is going to a raccoon cafe
Oh yeah, no,
because
that's
who
something that we all want now. That's for
like
sure.
who the hell doesn't want to hold one of those furry little fuckers?
Oh, exactly. My
Um,
God.
One another option which I'd have to look into to see what the actual price and the whole shtick of it of going and then leaving type deal is
Mhm.
that we could actually visit one of those famous cat islands that they have.
I mean, that sounds good to me. I mean, I'm all about seeing as many animals as humanly possible, but there's so many
Yeah.
places to go to. We got to try to just obviously we got to plan some days, but we
Yeah.
got to just have like a lot more just sporadic moments where like, okay, you know what, screw it, we really want to go and just visit these raccoons, and then like, go after that. We'll go get some ramen, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
go to some other crazy place and look at some like really like, questionable comic books in this weird place. It just gets worse as you go up in the higher floors. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the people that aren't aware, which should be all of you, because I don't think we've shared too much about this, the pinpoint reason that we're actually going for it is actually for an event. I remember that they have a specific thing that they like to do during October, which is their Halloween festival.
Oh, that looks so good.
Uh, so as far as we're aware, we're going to be checking more often once it gets closer to it. They take up pretty much like the main central of Shibuya
Hmm.
for this festival,
Roll call.
and it just takes up the absolute whole fucking place. And that's the main reason that we're going for the event, but also obviously who the hell is not going to explore while we're down there, right? So
Oh yeah.
for me specifically, I know that I'm going to be roaming a lot when it comes down to nighttime because that's when I'm going to be a little less worried about having my fucking tattoos out because I'm not going to be going to shrines or anything like that during the night and whatnot. I'm going to be looking for all of their nightlife, we'll call amenities.
Oh, exactly.
Bars, open food stalls, the whole works. I'm gonna go and get anything in any vending machine I walk by. I don't care what it is because you know damn well you'll walk up to a vending machine. It's gonna be having different fucking shit in it every
Yeah,
time,
dude. That
and it
that's
could
like the one
have
thing. Oh,
anything.
every single goddamn corner, every block, every avenue, every angle, there's like vending machine with some new mystery in it that we're gonna be trying. I know that there's an unrealistically high amount of vending machines in just one tight little area. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
how many, but they're like in like tens of thousands. And there's alcohol in them. And
Yep.
I'm not saying much about that after. Well, I'm not saying much about that right now. Before, we haven't mentioned what we're drinking, and that's usually how we started these. So before we get too far, because that's kind of like the main staple for whoever has listened to these a lot, we normally start off mentioning our drinks. It's been 8 months. Give us a break, guys. It's been a hot minute. So I'll let you go and mention what you have first.
Right now I have a nice mixed drink with bamboo in it. For anyone that doesn't know, that is actually Jamaican rum. I usually don't drink a whole lot of rum, but when it's Jamaican rum, it's right up there with whiskey with me, which is probably one of my favorite drinks. And for
Hmm.
some reason, I have a popper beside me as well.
Well,
May or
funny
may
you
not have
said
been
that.
from earlier.
Funny you
Mm.
said that. I actually have a popper in my hand. So that's what I'm drinking right now. And if you guys don't know what a popper is,
Funny,
oh,
funny you would
oh,
show that one.
yeah, there you go. Hey, I only have three left. I had two left now. But yeah, I'm drinking a popper. He's drinking a popper. I kind of got you into those. Stephanie
Yep.
got me to, try some different things over time, and I was never really into seltzers. And like, if anyone, knows about seltzers, like obviously, people listen to this should be, most likely they drink some form of alcohol. So I'll let you guys know that if you don't specifically go for stuff that has like a different look to it like this, as he also said, like rum, whiskey, stuff like that. Whiskey for me, whiskey, bourbon, beer, that's what I normally drink. but I find that the more you drink it, the more boring it gets. Like it's just you have the same thing all the time. So I wanted to try something different, and I don't like vodka myself. I'm not like into like the vodka seltzers and stuff. It's just too fruity,
Mhm.
and whatever for me. And obviously, this is definitely fruity. It's a fruit punch drink, but 7% malt seltzers are absolutely my favorite thing to have nowadays because not only can I drink them without having any form of headache or whatever like I normally would, they don't make you feel dehydrated either, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. And they're like not high in calories, not high in sugar, none of that stuff. Actually, less sugar, I'm pretty sure, than beer by itself, like regular, just like lagers and whatnot. So it's super good. So now that we talked about that, since we normally start with it, it only took us like 15 minutes. Back to the Japan thing. I saw a video on someone going and trying everything they possibly like walked by, whatever. So anytime they saw a vending machine, they would buy an item from the vending machine, and they did that every single time they had one, and they were sloshed by the end of it. If I can remember the video, I'll like mention it later on. But it was a couple times I saw this. It was like a couple shorts, couple videos, but the amount of alcohol in these things. Obviously, there's like a lot of beer, but like sake is the one thing that I don't think I've ever tried.
Oh, really?
No, not even one time, as far as I can remember. It's possible I have tried it at some point, but I don't remember it at all. So that's one thing I have to try while we're up there in multiple different ways, since there's obviously a lot of ways to drink it. But that's one thing that I'm like both excited for, but not really assuming that I'm gonna like it. I just think
Mhm.
I need to try it, because like there's a lot of things I don't like that I've tried, and you're probably the same way too. Like you just want to try things because you haven't had them before, whether or not they're good, it doesn't really matter. But I hear it's like
Yeah.
super like bitter and dry and just I don't know. I hear it doesn't taste the greatest, but I also drink bourbon quite often, and like that, scotch and stuff like that. I don't know how much it's gonna really suck to drink that versus those. So
Well, for me, I partake in gin, so it's not something I'm a stranger to.
yeah, I'm not a fan of gin. I find that like gin's something that Stephanie likes. I'm not a fan of it. I know you're a fan of it, and I don't know. Every time I have it, it just makes me feel like kind of gross. It just doesn't sit well with me. But I don't know. It's one thing that like I can have sometimes, like a gin and tonic or whatever. Like if I'm out doing something and someone just hands me one, like a mixed drink with gin, I don't mind it. But like when I have something like by itself or on the rocks or anything like that, gin will be the last thing I choose, other than spiced rum. Spiced rum is on the bottom of the barrel. That stuff is just filthy to me. Like that's like the high school nightmares that like we used to go for or whatever. Now I can't do it. Like there's no
Yeah,
shot.
that used to be one of our go-tos back in the day because it was very, very cheap back then.
Oh my god, it was so nice. You could get that at any point in time, legally, of course.
Yeah.
Of age. That and fucking Sleeman. All right,
Yeah,
Sleeman beer, dog
Sleeman.
shit, terrible beer. It's like
Terrible.
drinking Bush Light, drinking fucking what's this other one? It's just like Labatt Blue, just nasty beer.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. Also, if anyone's noticing how fucking glazed I look, I just got out of the shower. I had to moisturize my dry ass skin, so I look like I've just got out of a fucking sauna. I'm looking wet. It's fucking terrible. Oh my
It's
god.
just a little
Yeah,
heated
I'm
today.
I'm nervous, guys. I've never been on camera before. My god. Holy shit. Oh, speaking of being on camera and stuff like that, fucking hey, when are you gonna start becoming a goddamn live streamer? The fellas need you, bud. They're sick of me yapping. What kind of games do you play
Uh,
nowadays?
well, let's see. Um, Really, it's kind of a mixture. I'm pretty well done with Power World since it came out. I've
Yep.
burnt it out completely. There's nothing there for me anymore. I did re-download Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which was like a D&D version of Borderlands.
Hmm.
Um, it's been an on and off thing. Just because I don't do well with replaying games, so trying to go back to something's kind of a pain in the ass.
Hmm.
I also re-downloaded Cyberpunk 2077. A lot of things have been fixed since then, so it's very, very playable. But I've also had some tweaks with it and whatnot, so it runs a lot better. And the occasional Monster Hunter World, but what I'm waiting for now is I have two things I'm waiting for that are relative to games now. I am waiting for the newly trailered DLC that is going to be for Elden Ring, which is coming out in June, I believe
Mm-hmm.
June 24th. And the other one is actually a full game. I'm waiting for Dragon's Dogma 2, which is supposed to come out this month on the 21st on Steam. And looking at Dragon's Dogma 2, it's looking like it's going to be a really decent game. It's got a nice little push resemblance to Elden Ring, but it has a lot of more third persony in there, so it'll be something I'll have to adjust to because I've never been a huge fan of third person, but
Mm-hmm.
there are occasions where if the game's good enough, then I just don't really care.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like playing third person games is something that like I'm only into about half the time. A lot of games just kind of feel like the same thing when they're in third person. Like I played Power World, and right off the bat, everyone was like, "Bro, it's like Fortnite." I'm like, I mean, like it's got some of the movement and stuff like that. Like, oh, it's got the Fortnite health bar, it's got this thing in it, and they're like, "Oh, it kind of looks like Zelda." And they're like, "Oh, it kind of looks like this other game." It's just a whole bunch of things mixed together with like Arc and stuff. But see, that game
Yeah.
was fun, and I remember you mentioned it at some point, and then I wanted to get into it. I told Nick to get into it. He couldn't get into it at all. He was bored of it, but like what you said earlier, you said that you got into it, you're kind of done with it. I didn't even really get that far with it, but I got bored of it only because I started this new thing I'm doing, right? So it's like I just can't get any sort of time for anything else other than Apex, which I got back into. And god damn, am I addicted again. It's bad. It's like for my
It's
rotation,
changed quite a bit.
oh dude, it's so much better. My like they fixed the ranked, and that's the only thing I really enjoy playing, but I mainly they're pubs right now, like the regular BR. They have this
Yeah.
mode where I don't know if you've looked at it, but you basically just you're constantly being hunted or hunting other people down, and that's kind of the goal of it. So it's way faster. You don't have to worry about people hiding for like 20 minutes out of the 22-minute game. And
Yeah.
dude, it gets so intense. But I've been playing that on Kick again recently, which is funny because like the whole Twitch versus Kick thing we talked about last time we were on here. I'm kind of stopped streaming there like mostly. I stream there like once or twice every week or two, and that's about it. Just like late night because I've
See,
just kind of
it's
been.
funny. So I've pulled up my I've had the Steam log pulled up and whatnot.
Mhm.
I have 992.2 hours on Apex Legends.
It's 992 hours.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay, hold up. I need to see what I'm at. This needs to be looked at now. My guess is about
Uh
300 hours or more. Uh,
you're close. You're very close.
400.
Yep.
Shit. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's on something else too, right? It's on like BattleNet or something.
Uh,
I can't remember.
no,
It's
it
all
is not.
damn. Okay, well there you go. Yeah, so only 399.2 hours, and that's not as much as I thought it would be. Like before I played a little bit recently, and not long ago, someone mentioned that like they assumed that I was at like 300 something hours because I think they looked. So that's what put it in my head. But like at first, like just a couple days ago, I was asked like how long I've played, and my guess was like 450, 500 hours. And then it went down to 300 when they mentioned that. Now it's actually at 400. So like I assumed I played a lot more, but that number has increased by probably about like 20 hours in the past week and a half, which is
Yeah.
basically just because of the fact that like whenever I'm streaming, like the Skyblock stuff that I do nowadays, like it's a whole different ball game. But like I was streaming before, I just did it like a zombie, so I'd get off and I go play Apex or some other game. But now I just like I'm grinding like crazy, and now I don't have to edit anymore, which is good. But I put a lot of time into that new series I'm doing, so trying to do anything on there, I'm like I don't want to mess up the grind I'm doing on Twitch, so I just go over to like Kick for a bit, and I wasn't sure what to play, so I was like, may as well try a little bit more Apex. And now it's like one of the only two games that I play on rotation, minus Cookie Clicker, which is running right now. That game has got me hooked, and I am not a fan of this guy Dose for making this a problem for me because he's the one who mentioned it. And now I'm at the point where I'm cooking like 1.776 sextillion cookies per second. And I got like right now 67,000 legacy points and stuff like that. I'm going crazy on it. Like I'm playing quite a bit of it, and it's quite goddamn degenerate. So I'm hoping that I get out of this soon because like it is taking up too much of my time. I'll like wake up in the morning. I'll just all I want to do is look at it, check some things, update some things. I'm like, oh, I just keep waiting. Oh, it's up one of these things. Let me up this another 50. Oh, let me upgrade this thing. Oh, I just gotta wait for this thing, and I'll spam click for a little while. Oh, it's degenerate. But goddamn, yeah, the three games I have in rotation: Skyblock, Apex, and fucking Cookie Clicker. Like the wonderful game that it is. Which have you played it before?
No.
It's so stupid. I recommend it. It's it's genuinely just a like it's just an idle thing, right? Like you click a couple times, you do something, you look over, you get a couple upgrades. Like right now, if you want to know, I own 332 grandmothers, and they work for me. And right now, they're not evil, but they can be, and they become like this hive mind. And it's definitely a normal game, but I find it very entertaining. So I don't know. I'm just saying, if you ever get into it, I'll let you know. It's pretty fucking terrible. God damn. I got a couple people in chat infuriated because I mentioned this game and I didn't want to play it at first. And they kept talking about it and talking about it. And I was like asking what was so good about it. It was like all you do is click a couple cookies. And then they mentioned lore. They said there's lore in the game. And I laughed at them instinctively. And I was like, what the? Like, what are you guys on about? I was like, it doesn't make any sense. And they got a little annoyed. I put this little portion inside of one of my videos recently, but whoever's listening, if you guys remember, I remember somewhere around this, uh, I said something about it being like you just click cookies, you watch a number go up, and it's like completely fucking pointless. But then as I was saying it, I was like, I mean, that's like 99% of games. You're just
Yep.
doing something to get stat increases, and it doesn't really matter how fucking pointless it is. It's literally just exactly what this is. So I was like, I'll give it a try. And take a guess how many hours I've put into it. Just wild
Oh
guess.
God. I'm gonna have to say somewhere in the realm of 400.
400, bro. Yeah, it's only 105.4. So like, I got a quarter of that, but that's only like while it's open, and I only started playing it. I don't even know when. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. So it's been running like nonstop almost. Like whenever my PC is on, it's on, and it's stupid. Like obviously, like I have some things to learn about it. Right now, it's not exactly the best, but I have a ridiculous amount done. And achievement wise, I don't even know how much I have. Let me take a look here, but there's like a ridiculous amount. Yeah, I have 241 out of 716 achievements, so exactly 33%. So it's getting pretty degenerate, but I mean, I will say, like, as like while I was like editing and stuff like that, which like if you guys don't know me and Squally way back in the day, we used to make a little bit of dog shit content. Like it was terrible content on different channels and other things, which we just saw one recently again.
Yep.
Uh, that one we won't even mention it, but those things like we've made a lot of content in the past, but nowadays like content is like all I do. So I want to get into the topic of work a little bit because I'm sure they really want to hear about everything, right? Because like they're gonna hear a lot about mine, but they want to hear a lot about yours too. So what is it that you've been up to? How's work been, and like what I don't know, what's the environment like nowadays?
The environment's all right. More newly, developments. We are doing a bit of a restaffing for supervisors. One stepping down, one shuffling over to replace. Backup stepping up to take the prior spot, and we have another backup being swept around. Other than that, really, at the moment, I'm going through a safety certification process for our health and safety, which is on April 3rd and 4th, I believe. It's supposed to be a 2-day period, which lovely enough is going to screw around with my schedule because nobody's going to start that whole process on afternoons. So my ass is coming in on days for that.
That's unfortunate. Well, what did you say? Do you like days, nights, afternoons? What do you like more? Because I know you're on mad rotation
Um,
now.
well, I it's kind of hard to decide now because another change is that we're starting on Sunday nights now. So people that start on or on nights during that week are starting on Sunday night,
Yeah, that's
and
trash.
they are done by Friday at 6:30 in the morning, which excuse me is not too bad considering the weekend for that is now you have the rest of that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you don't have to come back in until 2:30 in the afternoon on Monday.
Yeah, see
So
that's not too bad.
it's an extra long bit, but the prior of that sucks ass because
Hmm.
you're going from the opposite end of the tail, which you're gonna get done you're gonna get done on Friday. You're gonna have whatever you have left of your Friday, then your Saturday, and then Sunday you have to go in that night. And during that whole span, you got to flip your schedule around. So
Yeah,
it's kind of the trade off of doing that now.
yeah, it's fucking
So
lame.
for me, I'd rather be on straight days, but the only issue with that is that there's no premium on days
Hmm.
for per hour. So
Yeah, that's fucking unfortunate. I mean, like, that's just one thing I didn't like about, like, cause I don't know. Obviously, if anyone listens to this like a lot, you guys probably know that I used to work there as well. I started the same time you did, but obviously, I had a different change in what I wanted to do, so I just kind of got out and tried something else. But if I stayed there, like just the swap to mad rotation, like thinking about the fact that it's 8 hours instead of 12s, right? Instead of continental 12s anyways, like that I genuinely hated 12-hour shifts, but the money was so good. But like even then, when you do get home, like obviously it's a 12-hour shift and you were stuck kind of wasting 14 hours of your day in a 12-hour shift. And anyone who works them, you can probably agree it's like 14 hours minimum that you're wasting of your day, between, like, because you have to waste the morning. You get terrible sleep, you wake up, you get ready, you get everything situated, you get to work, then you have to do the pre-shift meeting, you work for 12 hours, you won't stay a little bit longer because you got to do the handoffs and stuff like that. Then once you do want to leave, you got to get changed, you got to get everything going, you got to get home, you got to eat food, you got to take care of yourself, do your laundry and all that stuff, get to bed, wake up, do it again. But on like at least 8-hour shifts, if they weren't mad rotation, I like that. I feel like that'd be incredible. Obviously, the work sucks, but like mad rotation was the one thing I hated more than anything else. Like I'd take a 15-hour shift, 3 days in a row, 2 days off. I'd do that over and over again versus doing mad rotation 8-hour shifts. I genuinely hated them because you'd have to like give up so much that you wanted to do, and like you can plan ahead, but to an extent. Like it kind of gets annoying too. I don't know if you find that at all, but like whenever I try to do anything back in the day, I was working mad rotations. Like I had to try to plan something and be like, oh, okay, well I'm on days. I'm gonna go into at like afternoons. I'm gonna go to midnights, and I'm like, all right, well, what's in like 5, 6, 7 weeks from now? I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, I think I might be able to go out that night. And once you get to that point, you realize that you're completely fucking tired because like your body's constantly flipping its schedule, and it's unnatural in my opinion. But goddamn, am I happy I don't got to do that shit anymore. So that's all for you to fucking worry about. I ain't got to do that anymore at all. I'm chilling. But is Nick not doing that too? I'm pretty sure he's doing mad rotation as well.
yeah, I believe he said he's doing the same type of rotation.
Fuck yeah. I remember he's doing it at a place. I can't say the place. I almost did. But I mean, it's not even really a problem. They're gonna fucking find where I'm at anyways. So it's like I'm pretty sure I fucking said where I live multiple times. But the place that Nick is right there. I mean, Stephanie worked there in the past too. I feel like he likes his job. I don't know if you could say you like your job. Do you like it, or is it like kind of iffy now?
I don't see the problem is that I've come to a conclusion. It's just not gonna fucking matter where I work and whatnot. It just purely doesn't matter. I'm one of those people that I'll tolerate the place as long as the people are good,
Hmm.
and I'm not bored and
So
whatnot.
like, how are
Once
the
I'm
people now?
bored, yeah. Once I'm bored, then there's not really any reason to stay.
Yeah. How would you say? Is it boring there, or is it kind of just whatever?
It's cycling a bit. If we do a couple, there's still like a couple machines that I can go and work on that I haven't touched before, but once that kind of caps out, then there's nothing else for me.
Yeah. I remember you did mention the fact that you said you wanted to go back and do some like schooling and stuff again. You want to get into, like you obviously wanted to learn that, you can take like a course on business and stuff too, which is, that's just a fucking amazing idea. But all that stuff. Like where do you see yourself like working, like in your ideal space? Like what would you say your ideal job would be that you can just choose go into and just like put like 100% towards it if you knew you could go at it right now? What would it be?
Uh See, that's a problem too, because genuinely, there's not really a job I want
Hmm.
and whatnot. It could really be anywhere. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing I actually want job wise is when I'm fucking old and whatnot. I want to have a bar, and that's
Hmm.
pretty much it, to be honest with you.
Now, do you want a bar or do you want like a pool hall or a mix of the two?
It's gonna be a mix of the two. There's gonna be two different locations I've been just not budging on for a couple years now. One's gonna be in over in Greenland, and the other one's gonna be in the central of a populated city.
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, like, if anyone doesn't know, that's like kind of what we do every Saturday, which we're after this podcast in 45 minutes ish from now, we're going to be heading out to do that. We're going down to a pool hall where this unnamed location is kind of the spot we all go to. There's, I don't know how many of us now, but it started off with like three, four of us, then five of us, then back down a little bit, back up to five, six or seven of us now
Yeah.
that we all go down. We go to a bar, we get a couple drinks over time, we play pool. Uh, we just have a good time, and that's like every Saturday. Then we come back here, and like the old people we are at, 25, 26 years old, you soon. Just play crazy eights and just have a couple drinks, and it's a chill time. Which I think it's a fucking fantastic way to spend the goddamn weekend rather than what we used to do, is just go get fucked up and get crazy and just do dumb shit. And
Yeah, we're too old for that now.
yeah,
Holy
and like even if
crap.
we're not too old for it, I'm mentally too old for that. I can't stand it. Like being all crazy now. I just want to sit down. I want to sit back, play cards, drink beer, and listen to some weird ass music. That's like
I
all I
guess
want to
that's
do.
my twos.
Yeah, I want to get a couple stick and pokes when I go to prison from when we bring Nick onto a podcast someday. But we'll have to see how that goes. Speaking of
Yeah.
that little bastard. That guy was, and listen, he says it all the time. He's like, he jokes around, want to come to the podcast. I genuinely want to see you, me, Nick, and Patrick all in a call doing something like this. I'm not 100% guaranteeing that it's going to go up unedited. Not a chance. Like, it's going to need to be heavily, heavily altered, but I want to try that. And one thing I wanted to do when I move is I want to try the idea, and I wanted to mention this, on here because it's like the perfect spot for it. I want to invest into getting four identical, podcast microphones, which will be like $100 each. Like the Rode Pod mics. So Rode
Okay.
Pod mics, $100 are super good. I want to get that, get a couple arms for it, which I have two, already. I can get more or whatever, but and I want to get like an actual audio interface for it, and I want to sit down, play some cards, and just chat. Have a camera above it, have a camera like on each of us, and then I want to just obviously it could be like one camera showing two people, and then I can just split it, and then one camera showing the other two people and split it. So just two cameras, four mics, and all that stuff, and obviously the camera for the tops are three. I want to get a spot like that, and then also have a setup where if we have a pool table in that place, we can also do it like
Mhm.
that too.
Now, what I'm gonna say is that you say if we both know that you're gonna get one anyways. Um,
Yes,
but
I will.
attached to that, when you do get a pool table, don't worry about the balls because I intend on getting those balls I showed you like a month or two back.
Oh yeah, those are fucking nice. I mean, I was probably gonna get those exact ones anyway. So it's like when I saw those, I was like, those are fucking nice. And
Yeah.
pool cues, I don't know how that's gonna go. We're gonna have to see. I don't think we have any of those laying around. But if you guys don't know, this guy on what was it, Christmas, right?
Yeah, it would have been yeah, it would have been
Just
two
before, I
weeks before
think.
Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. So for Christmas, we all obtained in a similar way. Just in case, we all obtained these pool cues, and it was only from the hand of one man, and that man might have been Squally, but because we all play pool and we're adamant about playing it, now we all have pool cues, and I'm not going to say it was Squally who bought them because I don't want to say that, but it definitely was. But it was pretty sick. So now we all have pool cues. We go down, we play pool and what all that. But like I said in the previous thing, like when I move, if I get, I'm saying if because I don't know if I'm gonna get a pool table or I'm gonna get a smaller, shittier, flimsier one that'll be like more of a pop up piece of crap that just works because I don't really know how much room I'll have for it in general. But I am considering 100% getting a dining table that is convertible to a pool table and just getting rid of my dining table entirely because like I just think that it'd be a fun way to not only like change up the energy of the place. We use the dining room table, sure, but I would use the pool table far more. Most of the time we have dinner, we eat it sitting at the couch anyways. And like I eat at the office desk or whatever. Like that's just what I'd rather do. So I
Yeah,
want to do that real bad.
I don't know if you're similar like what I do. My fucking table, my dinner table is not even remotely used for fucking dinners at all.
Well,
Like
you
I
have a
just have
fucking
fucking
huge table.
appliances.
You have a huge
Yeah,
table in that small area. So like for you, it's a little bit obnoxious trying to get around that. You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
for you, it just doesn't work. But for us, we have like a little bit of room here. We're gonna have more room when we move. But I just don't like sitting at the table as much.
Neither do I.
Just in
Neither do
general,
I.
it just doesn't seem necessary. It's like when I go out to certain places in their family setting, they have everyone sitting at the table. It just feels so awkward for me. Like not that I don't like the company, it's just
Yeah.
the sheer like feeling of just sitting at a table just isn't as relaxed to me. I'd much rather
Yeah,
be at that table playing cards and drinking. That's the only thing.
like for me, I only really sit at dinner tables for either when we're playing cards or I'm at a family event and it's the middle of fucking winter where I'm not outside in the garage.
Yep. Which speaking of, we have a garage there, and it's not tall enough for a truck. It's not wide enough for a large car. It's not tall enough for a full gym, but it is enough size where if we really need to, I'm not saying 100%, might possibly be able to get a pool table in there. And then that would be a nice spot. I'd have to obviously like do some work on like making sure that the pool table can be moved. I don't want to get like a slate. Like if anyone knows what I'm talking about, like a pool table
Yeah.
can be a lot of ways. You can make it like all wood. You can make it like all plastic. You can have a metal pool table. You can have whatever. There's a lot of ways you can get it made. But like I think it's like granite slabs. You can
Yeah.
get like just basically giant rock slabs, and it makes it very heavy. Uh, you need at least two people to get each piece of it on like at each point, and then the whole thing putting it together is a pain. But I want to try to get something, throw it in there, and if there's enough room, that's where I want to make like a little man cave type situation. Obviously, just saying that in quotes. I think that like a lot of the time it's gonna be me and Stephanie out there, and then once you guys come over, then we're all gonna be out there. So it's like I think that'd be pretty sick. But that along with a bunch of like I want to get a rower, I want to get a treadmill or something like that too, or like a bike or
Yeah.
something like that as well. Because like I want to try to do like my like morning routine requires some sort of movement, or I just feel dead. I want to get like
Yeah.
a certain amount of cardio in the morning, but then if I can wake up in the morning, go do some cardio, I guarantee you, if there's a pool table there, it's going to be a conflict because I'm just going to start playing pool at like 9 a.m. and I'm gonna just Stephanie's gonna come out. She's gonna go get it ready for work. I'm gonna be like just playing pool for already 2 hours at that point. She's like, "What the fuck you doing?" I'll be like getting ready for stream. I'm like, "Oh fuck," get up, go do it. Sorry guys, I'm busy. But my God, it's gonna be a good
Now,
thing and a bad thing. But I'm excited.
now, do you? Because I haven't seen it. Do you have a enclosed backyard?
Oh yeah, so the backyard thing is unfortunate, but it still isn't
Mm.
isn't as bad as being in an apartment. So
Okay.
the way it is it's like any other like townhouse. It's just road houses. You know the area, right? Like you know
Yeah.
exactly where it was. Yeah, I showed you. So in the back there, we have a deck. There's a barbecue and all that stuff, and then it has a certain amount of area we have there. And then behind that is this little drop off. To the right of the deck is a little staircase with a gate, and you can take that down into the grass area. But the grass area is probably only about 5 feet wide, maybe a little bit more towards 6 feet, but
Okay.
sloped. And it goes across the entire back of every townhouse. So it's not something that you're going to have secluded privacy. But in general, like having that there is just going to be for if we get like a dog, which we will. Uh, and then we'll have a
After
place
the
for it to
cat.
take it out. Oh, after the cat, like one cat, one dog, and then another cat, and then a bigger dog as well. That's the goal. So that's pretty well it's going to be for it. So sadly, there's not a whole lot of yard space. However, we do have a little bit of space in the front. We have the garage we can open up in the summer, and then we have two car driveway shared with another the people to the side. But they have
Yeah.
two spots. We have our two spots. It's just like connected in general. But it's gonna be a good time, I think. But like when it comes to the actual yard space, it's not as ideal as I'd like it to be. However, the price was just like we couldn't pass it up. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna rant about this too, since I'm pretty sure you already know this most likely. But in case anyone's like listening in, a couple people in stream heard me talk about this too. But this place we're in right now, when we mentioned we wanted to move, we gave them 51 days notice that we found a place that we could not pass up on. And in that happening, they decided to wait until I think it was just a couple weeks ago. So like let's say 2 weeks ago, not even. They decided to drop something in the mail saying that we're not, it's like we have to pay this month. They're not going to use our last month's rent till April. So we had to just go ahead and come up with another like $1,800, let's say, even though we're moving out halfway through this month, not the end of next month. And they knew that. So they wanted to just, suckle on all the money they could. And I thought it was pretty crazy because they have like a long list of people that are wanting to move into these units. Like they were, I think, backed up by a couple of years of like people that were waiting to come in here. And we just got into it because Stephanie's mom lives in this building, right? So we got lucky. So they still wanted to just kind of like milk us for more money. We're not paying a damn dime to them. We're moving out halfway through the month when we paid for the whole thing. This is our last month's rent. They haven't said a damn word about it now after they got like our 2 cents on it, but that happened too. So like that was a little unfortunate, but so far no issues have arisen from it at all. But my God, that was annoying as hell. So it made us want to move even faster. So last night we went and got all the stuff we needed to like get ready, everything else that we got to pack and stuff. But that was a fucking nightmare. My God, they were trying to milk us for another $1,800 for a month and a half longer than we were gonna be here when we weren't gonna be here at all. So it's like kind of crazy to me, but I'm just so excited to get the fuck out of here, man. Like this place is nice. I can't say it's not, but I'm so excited to have separation in all the rooms and everywhere that we're at. Like the bedroom's gonna be on the back side of the top floor, and then me and Stephanie both have our own offices now, and they're gonna be on the other side of it. And every room has controlled, heating. We can do it however we want. So my office will never have it on. It'll always be nice and cold in there. And then we have a bathroom up there, a full bathroom. The basement has a half bathroom, has a laundry room, has a spot for the workout stuff like that, has a little storage space underneath. The garage, and then the middle floor has everything else. It's gonna be nice and separated. So as nice as this place is, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it a lot. But it being 1 minute out the back door is fucking crazy. So that's exciting. My God. I don't know, man. Well, like, once you get the keys, I think we're gonna get them on the 15th. Uh, Most likely on the 15th. But once we get the keys, we'll show you guys everything before we start the moving process. Uh,
Yeah.
which who knows how that's gonna go, but in general, it should be pretty chill. But goddamn, like I've seen it twice now, and I'm like, once you get closer to moving date, I don't know if you do the same thing whenever you have moved. You just start thinking about all the things that might not fit, things that might not work, stuff like that. You're like, I don't know, man, what's a bad idea? I've been on Kijiji looking at so many places, just being like, oh, where are we missing out on something? I'm trying to see if there's other places. Like, what if we missed out on this good place? What if there's a good price? I've been doing that for the past month. My God.
Oh. So looping background a little bit to both on the tattoo and Japan topic. For our viewers, his old lady and I plan on getting some work done while we're down there as well. I, in particular, am planning on getting some kanji done while I'm down there.
Mhm.
If I'm gonna get it done at all, it might as well come from the source. I think his old lady's still undecided of where, like, what she wants. But we have found I've found a place or two. I've keep forgetting to send the link to his old lady, but yeah, that's something that's gonna be coming soon. my original thought was that I might get it done on my neck. Still not sure whether or not if that's the route I'm going to take, or if I'm going to start working on my other hand, or if I'm just going to fit it somewhere into my left side. So you guys can look forward to that
Hmm.
come October.
So when you said like about the tattoos and stuff like that, I remember you mentioned this a little bit, but what about your like your entire right arm? Like what are you thinking about for like your entire opposite side?
See, I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I do have a plan to go over and have a what's the phrase for it? Do a cover up on my forearm tattoo on my
Yeah.
right side, just because it's just not, for one, it's not gonna fit with anything I'm gonna put on there now, and two, it just doesn't look good.
It was your
Like
first tattoo,
for
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So for like a first tattoo and whatnot, completely fine and whatnot. You're never gonna like go fucking huge, especially when I was that young. That would have been 18 that I got that one done.
Holy shit.
And fun story with that one. When I did go and get it done, my dumbass didn't eat beforehand because I did not know the process for tattoo prior. So I felt like I was dying. I was white as a ghost. Luckily, didn't puke or anything like that. Everything was kosher after that. But it was definitely an interesting experience. And if you if you ever want to know why you're doing the things you're doing before getting a tattoo, I recommend doing it on your first tattoo, because you're for the rest of them you're not going to screw up and make that mistake again.
Yeah.
But I found that it's especially for me, because as you can tell with the ones I got now and I'm getting now, the larger pieces, it doesn't really matter how much you eat prior to it or drink or anything like that. It's pretty much just dependent on like the body and how your system works in general. Cause I can eat an entire fucking buffet before I go, and I will still get that drain feeling at some point during the tattoo.
Hmm.
But once you bounce back, then it's just kosher from there. But yeah, also for people that are looking into getting them done, I've talked with my artist, and the weird thing is that you're not actually too worried about drinking a whole lot of water prior to it. What you actually want to drink is a lot of fucking pop, because it's gonna drain the blood out of you and it's gonna reap you of your sugar.
Hmm.
It's just gonna just plummet, and that's usually where that like I'm gonna say anemic feeling comes in. Everything's drained, you feel like you're gonna drop. By the way, if you fucking feel like that, please tell your tattoo artist. They will really, really appreciate you doing so, and not just trying to fucking bulldoze through it and drop on their floor.
Yeah, it's like
That
being
is the
fucking
least
hammered.
wanted thing.
It's like being
Yeah,
hammered at a
you
party, you're blackout drunk and you're trying to pretend you're not. Everyone's looking at you like this guy's fucked, and I can tell he's fucked. But he's like, "You good?" He's like,
yeah,
"Ah, I'm great."
like understand it. It's not gonna give them like a bad impression of you. It's just gonna tell them like how your body's gonna react for it, and understand it's gonna be like a consistent thing and whatnot. So you might as well just come clean and tell them like, hey,
Yeah.
I need a moment. I just need a break for a minute. They really don't give a shit, and this is like a greedy thing to say, but they really don't give a shit if you're doing a guy by the hour. You can take as many breaks as you want. He's not gonna give a shit. My guy personally does by the piece, but he still doesn't give a shit. Like let your artist know, because you don't want to be the dumbass that drops on the floor and have your guy look at you and be like, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me?"
My God.
And especially when you're getting tattooed, and understand if you're in the middle of a piece and you decide that you end up dropping because you don't tell him, there are a plethora of shit that can go wrong afterwards. Just remember, he's holding a active needle on you. So that can go pretty much anywhere if you drop, depending on how you're sitting.
Yeah,
So please tell them.
that's the one thing when it comes to like getting a tattoo, like because I'm gonna have many in my life, like that's a fact. Uh, like getting tattoos in general, like I looked up so many things. 'Cause I'm always like I want to be like over prepared for anything I do, for the most part,
Yeah.
right? Like if I have to do anything, I'm researching, I'm looking stuff up. Like let's say every single time we do a podcast, like we both probably like back and forth we do this, but like there's always stuff we have written down. We'll talk about it and stuff, but like you want to be prepared, but like that's the one thing I found really early. But I want to like bring this back. When you said you got like you didn't eat or anything like that, you didn't prepare yourself. Do you remember way back in the YMCA gym days when you tried to do a workout with
Oh
me
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't drink, eat, nothing,
Oh yeah.
nothing at all?
That
So
was a long time ago too.
yeah, we were in good shape back then. Let's say that we were in good shape. I remember that workout was some form of ridiculous like full body. We wanted to just get ourselves like we wanted cardio, but we wanted to like work for it, right? So we were doing like push ups, sit ups. We were doing fucking like all sorts of stuff that would move your body quite a bit. Anyways, this guy didn't eat anything. He didn't drink anything. He just showed up to the gym and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good to go." Start doing it all. I'm like, "Bro, why are you so fucking sluggish?" I'm like, "Normally you like you know you keep up when you do our thing." And he's just like fucking, it's just like, "Oh fuck, bro, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I feel like death." And I was like, "What the fuck are you on about?" And then eventually he gets all white in the face and just sits back, and I'm like, "Holy fuck, he's dying." I'm like, "Holy shit." That's a funny thing to fucking think about too, because I mean, like that was a long time ago. We were like 16, 17 years old, and
Yeah.
or probably yeah, around like 16. And my God, it's a similar thing. Like your body's losing out on a lot of like fluids, just losing out on the blood, just losing out on like the sugar. Like you're fucking you're losing out on a lot of stuff that your body normally requires to function and stuff like that for certain things to work. Let's say if you're sitting down, not moving much, maybe you're not going to feel it as fast, but it's going to happen to you. But like I don't know, the adrenaline for a lot of people too, especially if it's their first tattoo.
Mhm.
They get the adrenaline high, and then it spikes, goes right down, and you're losing blood. You got no fucking sugar. You got no nothing in you. You're dehydrated. Your fucking adrenaline's gone. You're gonna feel like death. Like
See,
that's for sure.
I'll make a comment on that. So it's not much of an adrenaline spike. It actually when you start getting tattooed and whatnot, if you're it depends on when it starts. So if you are okay at the start and whatnot, you're gonna coast. Once you start to get into like the soreness and the pain really kick in and whatnot, it actually really triggers your fight or flight response.
Hmm.
And it sucks ass, guys, because depending on what he's doing. So I'm sitting here, I got part of my tail on my elbow here. It fucking sucks. So when I'm getting this done and whatnot, it's killer, right? Because when you go and get a tattoo done, what they're doing is one hand's obviously got the fucking needle and whatnot that's actually running it through you. The other hand is sitting there stretching and spreading the skin that it's tattooing on so it comes out properly. Now, understand I'm on my stomach while he actually no. The elbow, I was still standing up. I had to sit there going like this, and for people that have gotten tattooed, you're well aware you cannot flex anything when they're tattooing you because it will fuck up the process for it. You have to leave this completely limp. So you have your entire other side and shit, and you're sitting there wanting to either get out of the chair or fight the guy that's stabbing you. But guess what? You're sitting there and you're gonna fucking tough it out because you made that decision. But I'll tell you right now, it's 100% a fight or flight thing that triggers, and you just have to
Hmm.
fucking deal with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments like that, especially when you're in like let's say like any sort of like hospital work, you're getting any sort of like fucking blood work, or you got to get some sort of
Yeah.
like let's say I'm not gonna say it, but like you've been in a situation a couple times where like fight or flight, like
Oh
I was
yeah.
like you gotta hold back and like Let's say I was doing, how about this? Everyone can fucking attest to this one. You're at the dentist and they're like in your fucking mouth, just giving her, like fucking going at you, beating the shit out of you, jabbing you, stabbing you, and they're like, oh, you should probably floss more. You're fucking bleeding a lot. Anyone would if you take a butcher knife and start stabbing the fucking teeth and gums, bud. Like, it's gonna happen, but that kind of
I
stuff is just fucking hilarious. Like, you're gonna be in that mode of like, you want to kill whoever's doing it, but you're like, they're also like, you're in their hands now. Like, you put yourself
yeah.
in that position. You paid them to fuck you up.
See, I actually have a short little story for that one. The last time I got cleaned with like a hook knife, for them doing the cleaning on your teeth, they got in between my teeth and went to pull up, and it took the entire bottom section of my mouth and rocketed it upward. That's when it kicked in. For me, apparently, it doesn't matter really what the situation is. It's not fight or flight. It's immediate fight. So I cocked my fist at the dentist. Uh, and she kind of sat there
She,
and was like, yeah, and she's sitting there like, you all right? I'm like, you got any other methods? She's like, well, we have this water jet cleaner that we could use. I'm like, that's a really good idea because I don't think we're gonna keep proceeding because I don't think one of us is getting out of the room, and I don't think it's gonna be either of our faults.
uh, fuck, I was at
So
the dentist recently and I had them fucking doing the whole like hooking and jabbing and stuff like that. And when they were doing it, like I'll say this, like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm some tough guy or anything. There's a lot of things I'm gonna try in the future that are gonna make me fucking squeal for sure. But when I'm at the dentist, they're like jabbing and stabbing me. No matter how painful it is, I just shut the fuck up and deal with it because I'm like, the more I stop them, the more I'm here. So I just want to get
yeah,
the fuck out. But they did jab and stab me enough times where I straight up was like red in the face, like pissed off. And they asked me that because there was a guy at first, and I'll tell you the next after this is pretty funny. Stephanie already knows about it, so I don't gotta, it's pretty funny. She was in the room. They're like, oh, it's gonna be like an hour or two or something like that, and then Stephanie was there with me because like we're out in another city or whatever. So they're like, oh, do you want to come in anyways? We're like, oh yeah, sure. And then she's sitting there watching. Anyways, they're jabbing and stabbing and fucking me up, and it was super goddamn painful because not only did they, and I you know this, I'm pretty sure, but they jabbed needles in my gums many times to try to numb it. And I told them I was like, this shit isn't numb, bro. Like I can feel it still. And I was
yeah.
like, if I couldn't feel this, I wouldn't be like telling you I can feel it. Like it's like, oh, okay, let's get more. They jabbed a fucking needle into my gums, and it's the one spot. If anyone knows exactly like how bad it is, it's the spot where like no matter what, you're gonna feel it. It rocks your whole fucking goddamn head, and it feels like your whole body just had a fucking shock, like really
Mhm.
badly. And they warned me.
You're thinking like down in here, right?
At first it was up into the top of my fucking gums. It was like up in there, right? Because I have a
Okay.
deep pocket here, but they also did down here and
Yeah.
here, and they went fucking everywhere, right? And they said that a couple times. It said it was gonna happen. Anyways, they did that, and the fucking entire needle, like the cartridge for it, like the actual fucking container, any the syringe itself, like whatever, it exploded. It literally they jabbed it in there, shocked me with it, and then fucking I could feel every little bit of it, and then fucking the whole thing explodes. And I was so mad. I wanted to turn around and rock the guy, but he's also like the kindest person I've ever met in my life. So like this nice Indian man just chilling, chatting, like just saying, just talking back and forth with me whenever I can. And then he's like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt a little bit." Goes, explodes in like it just hits me in the face, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like freaking out. And then later on, and like instinctually, like it was pretty relaxing. I move on, and like there's these two girls that are working on my mouth. So I had two chicks up inside me, going crazy with these needles and stuff. And I'm gonna say it's gonna sound plenty out of context and fucked up, but so I had these two women up inside my mouth, right? And anyway, so they're cleaning my shit out, and the girl comes up, and this is the same day, and she's like trying to get a certain angle, and Stephanie was there with me, and she saw it all, and I mentioned it to her after. They had their boobs right on my forehead, and I'm just sitting there, just like, just mouth wide open, like fucking doing this for like an hour straight with getting my fucking forehead rubbed up against. And like after something else, my whole mouth at this point's all numb. I'm drooling. I got fucking just like I look ridiculous. I look loopy. I'm all tired and just dead. My eyes are watering, and like it's just a fucking terrible day. But like it's like paying people to fuck with you is like 90% of what we have to do as adults. If you want to get
Yeah.
good art on your body, you're paying people to fuck you up. If you want to clean your goddamn teeth or keep them, in shape, you're paying them to fuck you up. You want to go to the doctors, like you're gonna be paying them to stick something, eventually you're gonna get that fucking prostate exam. You're gonna be paying them to fuck you up, literally. So there's a lot of things you gotta do, but that fight or flight response is ridiculous. Cause like it's obviously not as severe, but like god damn dude. Like I start like wanting to put off all my goddamn all my like appointments for everything nowadays because I'm like I'm gonna go
Yeah.
in there and have the worst time of my fucking life for an hour and I just gotta deal with it. I'm like I'd rather just have them rot out of my mouth, bro. Like like don't even worry about it. Let's go start doing fucking crack. They'll start rotting out for me. I don't gotta deal with them anymore. It's gonna be fine. Jesus
See,
Christ.
on the topic of paying people to fuck you up, so obviously I've had some tattoo work done recently and
A
whatnot.
little bit.
For people, obviously you can't tell because I'm wearing headphones, but I've had some more piercings done on my ears. And the fun one was, if any of you can actually see that one right here in my cartilage here, that one is a terrible one to do. I don't care who you are, it fucking sucks. So for lobes are obviously the easiest ones to do. You still hear like that popping sound, they're a little sore afterwards. Who the hell cares? It's normal, whatever. The cartilage ones fucking suck. So understand my plan when I went there, I got, what was it? A second set done on both my lobes and that cartilage one done. I was going to get a fourth one at the same time as well, and that was going to be the top of my ear. But after getting that cartilage one done, I wanted to fucking throw up. Like the sound completely different. It is very very fucking crunchy, and the actual pain going through it completely different. It fucking sucks. And understand these guys are using the, what I'm going to say is the old school method with the actual hand needle in hand and then putting a industrial piercing in. It fucking sucks. So just to throw out that topic there of paying people to fuck you up, and nicely enough, I believe I only paid $100 to get all three of them done, which is really fucking cheap. If you guys have ever had piercings, it's really really dependent on the guy that's doing your piercings and whatnot, because usually the more you get, the less they're going to charge you, just for the fact that you're getting so much work done. But half the time it's not going to be that low, right? So
Mhm.
but yeah, another fun recent experience for me, and I believe that was, I think that was actually in January that I got those done.
Okay, that was that fucking recent. I mean, oh, actually, you know what? It makes sense. I remember you mentioned it like not long, relatively only a couple pool nights ago. So like that's how I measure things nowadays. But
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
speaking of pool nights and stuff, we gotta wrap this thing up. We gotta head out to pool in literally 13 minutes. So fucking hey, that's a pretty good episode. I'm not gonna say that we're guaranteeing we're doing this every week, but if you're down, I'm down.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to be caught up in this every week.
Fuck yeah, dudes. We're gonna get back into it. We're gonna reboot this thing. And whoever's listening in, again, we appreciate it very much. It's a good time. And like obviously you guys can find both of us in our socials linked underneath all this stuff, whether or not you're in Spotify or you guys are listening on YouTube. Anyone who's listening
Yeah.
to this, I appreciate it very much. We've been wanting to do another one for a while, but it's just like we've had other things going on. We've been busy, and then even then we just like didn't know when to start it up. It wasn't really something we thought about has been this long, and then just like it's been 8 months. So fucking A. I mean, I think we hit all the points we wanted to talk about and stuff like that. But if you guys are, ready to listen in again, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week. So if you guys want to catch everything again, this has been the Liquid Therapy podcast. A good chill time. Obviously, not a lot of people listening, but we appreciate everyone individually for doing so. So we'll catch you guys next time, and I guess we'll say goodbye now. So we'll fucking see you guys again soon. Later, dudes.